I wonder what brand we're going to be talking about today. What's good everyone on YouTube? It's me again, back with another video, and switching it back to actual sneakers instead of weird dress shoes. We're talking about an Adidas shoe today, and this is an old basketball silhouette that came out sometime in the 80s, I think it was 1985. And to be honest, it's a shoe that I wasn't really aware of until pretty recently, because I had my eyes out for the human-made collaboration that happened on the Adidas Rivalry low. And in my research for sizing, actually, I went to the store to try on a pair, and I ended up leaving the store with another pair. So I've bought the human-made pair as well as this pair. But there's actually a couple of reasons why I ended up buying this shoe, which I'll get into later on in the video. And actually I thought it was a pretty decent color, and it was on sale. So just a lot of justification as to why I bought another shoe. But without further ado, today we're talking about the Adidas Rivalry Low in the Knicks colorway. So yeah, with the intro out of the way, let's get into the box. So the box itself is a pretty classic Adidas Originals box. So you've just got this baby blue or like sky blue box with the 3 stripes on the side, and then we've just got Adidas on the top and other places. And then inside we just get this Adidas paper that has the logo in this sort of pea color. I'm not sure if you can see that, and that's pretty much it. The shoes weren't stuffed with anything, so saving some paper. And if we move to the side, it reads Rivalry Low. So the retail price on these actually retail for a really reasonable $130. I didn't pay this. They were already on sale down to $100, and with like a further sort of just below 20% off, I ended up picking up these shoes for 81 Australian dollars. I'll put the conversion here. And for 81 Australian dollars, honestly, anything under $100 for most shoes is actually pretty decent in my opinion. And the materials on this shoe is actually quite nice, and I think it's a pretty, I'd say, good alternative from your like Nikes and whatnot. So for $81, I'm pretty happy. So with the box out of the way, let's get into the shoes. And here we are. The Adidas Rivalry Low in the Knicks colorway. So as you can probably tell, like the white, blue and orange is very much like a New York Knicks color, and I'm not someone from America, so I'm not too familiar with that sort of thing, but it's a pretty cool colorway nonetheless, and I think it looks pretty snazzy on feet. Primarily we've got this leather upper, and the leather itself is actually really soft. I don't know if it's exactly hard wearing or durable, but it just feels really nice and doesn't require any break-in. You don't get that typical like toe guillotine from this shoe. But overall it just seems to be like pretty standard detailing. We've got 3 stripes on the side. We've got this pretty extended leather tongue. We've got this Adidas logo on the back, and actually it's got this texture with this orange color. It kind of makes it look like a basketball. But one sort of interesting detail, and I didn't notice this on some of the other rivalries that were at the store, is instead of the typical trefoil logo on the tongue, we've actually got this Adidas basketball logo. So I'll show some B-roll of this, but I'm not exactly sure if this is supposed to be some sort of special edition. And this logo itself can also be found on the insole as well. So I thought that was a pretty cool detail. Moving down to the midsole though, this is one of the more like old school things about this shoe. We've got this extremely stiff sort of rubber cup sole, and it sort of extends around the outside of the shoe, but then on the inside we actually have a gap that exposes the foam, which is supposed to be the cushioning for the shoe, which isn't very soft. And this rubber itself is extremely stiff. Like, it's so stiff that if you actually try and press it, it doesn't bend at all. And there's a really funny thing you can do with this. It's really good for toe stalling. Alright, are you ready to see these midsoles? 3, 2, 1. But yeah, midsole, super stiff. And then moving to the outsole, it's just the same rubber that comes from the midsole. So at least the rubber is really hard on the outsole. And we've just got Adidas in the middle and some blue detailing. So that pretty much covers the main features of this particular shoe. in terms of sizing, I found that when I went true to size in this shoe, if I wear thicker socks, the toe box is quite shallow. But as long as I wore thin socks, the shoe fit pretty well. The actual length is probably true to size, and the width is a bit narrow. So I will say, if you have really wide feet, you may find that this part of the shoe will dig into like your feet. So overall, I would say if you have a normal to narrow foot, or even like a slightly wide foot, I'd probably go true to size in this shoe. But if you have an extremely wide foot, I'd probably recommend going up half a size. So I'm typically a US 9.5 in most of my sneakers. I bought these in a US 9.5 and they fit me great. Now, in terms of comfort, there's really nothing to write home about. This is extremely old school tech. The foam itself on the inside is okay, but the rubber cup sole is extremely stiff. It was probably going to be a very durable shoe, don't get me wrong, but in terms of its stepping comfort, it's not that amazing. I will say though, it's actually more comfortable than a Jordan 1, but that's really not a high bar to sort of overcome. The upper itself though is where I'm actually quite impressed with this shoe. The leather quality, or at least the leather softness, is really appreciated. You don't get the toe cutting and it doesn't require any break-in. I'm not sure about breathability yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty hot in general. Most leather shoes are. But overall, I would say the comfort is to be expected for a shoe from the 80s. So yeah. But let's be honest, who's buying these shoes today to sort of wear for comfort? And that's where I get into my opinions of this shoe. And to be honest, this colorway doesn't really do much for me, but I actually think the Rivalry Low is quite a nice silhouette. I like to look at it as almost like the Adidas Air Force 1, because you kind of have this similar sort of toe panel at the front, and you have like the midsole that's just super stiff. And that's actually the one thing about this shoe. I actually found that for its function as a really stiff sort of shoe, I actually think it would be a really useful dance shoe. Just because like the sole doesn't bend much at all, so like leaning on it and sort of thrashing the shoe will really not do much to this. And just overall, I think the colorway itself is pretty nice. I've always been a fan of like the Knicks colorway, even though I'm not a Knicks fan, or like don't really know much about it. But I feel like blue and orange just go together really nicely, and it comes together really nicely on this shoe, and it gives off a very retro vibe. So overall, yeah, solid shoe. I like it, and I'm gonna stop talking now. And with that, we've come to the end of another video. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this Adidas Rivalry Low in this Knicks colorway. And if you have any colorways that you're eyeing out, leave it in the comments. As I mentioned before, I will be getting the human-made rivalries pretty soon, so stay tuned for a review for that. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about the rivalry. So like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section down below. And if you're into sneakers, dance, vlogs, that sort of thing, consider subscribing to the channel. Time for the on feet, and I'll catch you guys in another video.